Enough with embrace debate. Pointless yelling at each other on ESPN and Fox, yet very little actual content. It's time for a change. A voice from the fan, for the fan. The most compelling topics in sports, all covered here. This is Corbet's Corner.
All right, welcome in Corbet's Corner here on the Tuesday, riding solo. I'm Dylan Corbett. We're going to talk the NBA as the Clippers do force another game. Huge game last night. We'll get into that. Of course, the Bucks play Game 4 against the Hawks tonight in Atlanta. Leaning Atlanta. I think that can get even. I think we're have already been in for some great series, and I think these have the potential to both go 7. Finally going to get to some baseball. I haven't really been plugged into baseball, partially because I've been so locked into the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, the NBA playoffs, postseason, right, taking precedent for me. MLB back to a 162 game schedule, and it hasn't helped that my St. Louis Cardinals have been playing like ass. So we'll get into that, as this will be kind of a heavy baseball, and we'll touch on Tampa Bay. Are they going to repeat in their quest for Lord Stanley? That would make Pat Maroon 3 straight Cup winners. He won with the Blues 2 years ago, the Lightning last year in the pandemic 2020 season, and then if Tampa repeats, right, Maroon would make it 3 straight Cups for him. So let's get to the Clippers. Do they have a chance in this series? If you know me, I've been a kind of a fringe NBA fan in terms of I don't have a favorite team. I like the NBA as a sport, and it is more player-driven now. We are seeing that with the player empowerment era of LeBron James ever since he had the decision, right? So I was a Pistons fan for a couple of years when Reggie Jackson was there, because as you know, with my football allegiance in the NFL, I'm Boston College. I bleed maroon and gold. Matt Ryan, that's why I'm a Falcons fan. It's going to be tough when he either gets retires, or if he switches teams, that's going to be a tough day for me. Still getting another season as a Falcons fan. But I had 4 years of Reggie Jackson in which I followed the Pistons pretty hard. Then he gets bought out in 2020 before the pandemic, and now he's on the Clippers. I didn't want to be a Clippers fan, right? That's bandwagon, but what he's doing in these playoffs, I can certainly get behind, because they're kind of a fresh underdog story. So Reggie Jackson's the number one trending topic on Twitter last night. Paul George, it was almost a little bit of a, bad luck for him, because he got swallowed by the Reggie Jackson hype. Reggie Jackson's throwing down dunks. Paul George had the game of his life in an elimination game against a lot of people think might be the eventual champion NBA champs in the Phoenix Suns. And he does that. Playoff P does that in a road playoff game. Now it's back to the Staples Center. Are the Clippers going to be favored in that? Possibly. It's going to be interesting. Chris Paul, no stranger to choking in a playoff series. Were they better off when Paul was injured? That's crazy. But the narrative around Chris Paul's playoff woes can't be overlooked. Ty Lue, he's no stranger to down 3-1 in this series. Now it's 3-2. I saw he was 10-5 in elimination games now after that win. So absolutely incredible there. Reggie Jackson, again, another planet right now. Can they keep it up? I've been thinking about, I have 2 Reggie Jackson Pistons jerseys, right? I got a royal blue and red one, and then I've got the Motor City sleeves one. How about that? I was hovering over the buy button for Reggie Jackson Clippers jersey, but what if they get bounced tomorrow night? I can't do it. Be doing that. All right, short and sweet. Tampa Bay blows out Montreal last night. The hot goaltender with Price gets Montreal all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. But is Tampa Bay just that good? The Kucherov and Stamkos stuff is kind of horseshit, right? They just sit out the entire season, all of a sudden come back to the playoffs, and here they are looking for a second Lord Stanley in a row. I mean, geez, Kucherov was fantastic last night. Are they going back-to-back? I mean, the Canadians are a fantastic young team. They had a minus puck differential, goal differential this year. And, the hot goaltender rode them through their all-Canada division, right? They were down 3-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they came all the way back. And now they're here down 1-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Is that going to be a series, or is Tampa going to wash them? It certainly looked like Tampa was the better team last night. Canadians are a very young team. Expect them to be contending for cups in the years to come. All right, let's get to baseball. And it's so short and sweet here with the NBA. I'll go Hawks tonight. I think Trae Young, if he gets a better game out of John Collins, and Chris Middleton, he's been hot and cold. The Bucks win when Middleton goes off like he did in that previous game, and then he's due for another dud, right? They're playing in Atlanta last night. tonight, excuse me, for the game 4 before it flips back to Milwaukee. Let's throw a little free play on the Hawks, right? You would have cashed in big if you were on the Clippers last night money line. I just took their points. So baseball, again, just briefly going to touch on the Twins. What's going on with them? Actually, they've been playing well recently, right? They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're trending upward. And I said, I believe earlier in the Corbet's Corner edition a couple weeks back, they are playing better, but what's it for? Cleveland, still good, even without Lindor. White Sox, they're a good team, right? Top of the division. Twins, I think they're double-digit games back, 11 games back, and third. Is third place good enough? The offense is picking up, which is good. So Donaldson's playing well. Cruz is just a lock for an OPS over 900 every year, it seems, even as he's aging. And Jose Barrios has been the lone good guy in that starting rotation. That's been the disaster. That's why the Twins are so many games below 500. So the pitching has been abhorrent for the Twins outside of Jose Barrios and then, of course, Rogers out of the bullpen. Maeda has not been good in his second year with the squad. And it just some of the kind of the signings that they made that they thought would patchwork their back end of the rotation, like J.A. Happ and Matt Shoemaker, Randy Dobnak, the Uber driver. It's been such a disaster. So that's my question. With the trade deadline looming, All-Star break coming, what do you do if you're the Twins? Do you get rid of Jose Barrios? You would get a huge return for that if you threw him to a contending team. So a lot of questions coming up for the Twins. They're playing well. Again, you could beat up on those bottom teams. It hasn't gone that way so far, but it's a long season. Twins have been buyers in the last couple of off seasons. What are they going to do out of it this trade deadline coming up here at the All-Star break in the midst of a lackluster performance this season? Speaking of lackluster performance out of this season, despite being buyers this offseason, Nolan Arenado has been everything lived up to the hype. 15 bombs in a place that is hard to hit bombs at, right? Busch Stadium is your predominant home ballpark, coming from Coors Field. The defense has been stellar. Goldschmidt's starting. He's seven. We're not paying you all that money to hit 725 as an on base plus slugging, Goldie. So we need that to get picked up. Tyler O'Neill, finally paying dividends on what we gave up to Seattle to grab him as a prospect. He looks great. Also matched with Arenado with 15 bombs. That dude jacked. He could light it up, hit Big Mac land. And Yadier Molina has been Yadier Molina. I think Adam Wainwright deserves a lot of credit, and I'm going to pose some questions here. Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright, they're Cardinals Hall of Famers. They're going to have their numbers retired. I maintain Yadier Molina is going to be a Hall of Famer in all baseball, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. And I'll give you the stats that back up my assertion there. And I was wondering, Adam Wainwright, I'm like, wow, geez, a Cardinal legend, he should be in the Hall too, right? And then I looked at the numbers, and it's a strong case, but I don't think it's going to get there. So that one will be the crazy. So let's dive into what Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, it's going to be a new era when these two guys leave, right? Retire, I should say. 2 World Series titles. I'm a huge St. Louis Cardinal fan. It's been since 11. It's been tough, right? We just haven't been able to get over the top. We went through Mike Matheny. Mike Schilt looked like a great guy. Now, is he on the hot seat here? But Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina, it's going to be the passing of the torch, and I'm looking around. Who's going to take it? Matt Carpenter's done. His OPS, he's just a bench player guy, and he's just hanging on to the roster. We're just shelling money at him. Don't even get me started on Carlos Martinez. Okay, let's dive into the Cardinals season, as piss poor as it has been. So on the Cardinals note, again, just a couple games below 500. They're falling behind in just a mush pit NL Central, which I've been saying all season long. Preseason was going to be competitive, a competitive mush pit. I knew the Cubs would be good, as painful as that is for me. So I'm going to put the glasses on here because I've got some stats for Waino and Molina here for you. Okay, so the Cardinals, they've been able to patch it together. The Jack Flaherty injury certainly hurts. And that's why, again, are they going to be buyers at the deadline? What do they do? It's been so tough. They're just caught in the middle here at the deadline as we approach the All-Star break. Okay. So Wainwright, I'm going, Hall of Famer? God, he's had such a great career, 16 years. This is his 16th year, and he's still having a great year. What's also incredible is he was on a Cy Young I was shocked to learn he never won a Cy Young. He has finished in the top 3 4 times, runner-up once, but never won it. There was one year where he started so great. I think it was 2015 or 2016. I was in college, and he tore his Achilles in April, just going to first, coming out of the batter's box. So that certainly, the fact that he came back and he still revitalized his career a little bit, wasn't as dominant, right? But he's having a nice tail end of his career here. Of course, the 2 World Series titles. He's won a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger. He's going to have his number retired in Busch Stadium, Busch 3, but I don't think he's going to Cooperstown. Because here's what I was shocked to find this out too. Doesn't have 200 wins. He's at 173. I don't think he's going to get to 200, or even he's like 200 strikeouts plus away from 2,000. Maybe that's a little bit more attainable. But here's also, he's only a 3-time All-Star. He's finished in the top 3 in the Cy Young 4 times. He only made the All-Star game 3 times. That's a joke. My cutoff kind of for going to Cooperstown, you need a 50 career WAR, right? Wins against replacement. He's at 41.6. I don't think that's going to get him there. Okay, here is a guy that is going to Cooperstown, and it's Yadier Molina. Maybe one of the best to ever do it, probably in our era, right? There's plenty of baseball legends who have got the more, stature there than Molina, but you can't deny 17-year career. Here's the All-Stars, 9, right? He just locked up that catcher's position for the NL for so many years. 9 All-Stars, 9 Gold Gloves. He won 1 Silver Slugger, 2 World Series titles, and one of the best defensive catchers of all time. 54.3 wins against replacement. I think that gets him into Cooperstown. So the Cardinals, this is a guy, Alex Reyes, who I got to see go through the system. Highly touted prospect for the Peoria Chiefs, rising up through the Cardinals organization. A huge international signing, right? Out of the Dominican Republic, but he resides in New Jersey, interesting enough. And the guy just had the worst luck of injuries. It was just heartbreaking to see injury after injury every year, extended periods out. He is a guy with nasty stuff, but he's going to walk a lot of people. Go look at his stats here. I think he's got like 30 walks in 40 innings, but he's got like 70 Ks. And he's our closer. He's been filthy. He's got a 1.04 ERA, which is crazy how he gets that with the amount of walks he gives up. But good to see my guy Alex Reyes thriving in his new position. Not glad to see a guy get the ball tonight. Carlos Martinez, this has been the Carpenter contract is something, but at least he has some great moments for the Cardinals. The only thing we got from Martinez was like a season and a half of nasty stuff, and then his hair was, dyed teal blue. And he's going to cams, dollar bottles during rehab starts in Peoria, Illinois. And now all of a sudden he's the worst pitcher in goddamn baseball. Dead last in pitching WAR. And I mean people that have just thrown a pitch. Asdrubal Cabrera has thrown an inning this year and is actually a 0.1 WAR. He's a better pitcher than Carlos Martinez almost by tenfold. Carlos Martinez, second straight year, he's -1+ WAR, which is awful. He's -1.5. His ERA is almost 7, and he's coming up on 80 innings. You can't expect to be a good franchise, a playoff franchise this year, with Martinez getting the ball every 5 times, every 5 days. What Ohtani and DeGrom are doing this year is insane. But again, I've barely paid attention because maybe once the NBA and NHL are done, what is it that I'm going to be watching? The WNBA and MLB baseball. Yeah, I'm actually a WNBA fan. I got Las Vegas Aces, a little feature on them to win the title this year. That's going to do it for Corbett's Corner. I'm excited to announce that we've got a new member of Corbett Sports Entertainment. All the different menu options that I get to disseminate to you, core trades. It's been a while for that. I got to break that back out again. Summer vacation. How about that? Corbett's Corner. Core bets, I'm going to figure out what to do. Again, that's more popular, obviously, during football season, which is the most popularly bet sport. And, of course, Winging It, which we will be having coming out on Thursday again for the second straight week. So Christian Verde, a guy that went to my high school, knew him a bit when I went there, a couple of years younger than me. He's gotten to do some great work, social media work, graphic design work, etc., for LSU. He's got to experience a national title, videography work. So he's fantastic. He's passionate about what we're doing here with the podcast network. And so we've hired him. He's going to be helping with our social media. So excited to do that because I'm just doing we've got the hosts, right? But I'm a one-man show. And we're going to actually have him do a lot of videography work, editing, graphic design, and posting on social media for us. So he's going to be a huge help, a huge addition to us. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram, etc., because he's part of the team now, and we appreciate Christian Verde hopping aboard here to the podcast network and Corbett Sports Entertainment. CorbettSports.com. You can listen wherever you enjoy your podcast. You can check us out on YouTube as well, and we're posting, various clips on our social media. So if you would follow us there, that'd be much appreciated. Talk to you later this week. We've got Winging It coming out on Thursday.